Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. Today we're diving into a topic that's been on a lot of minds lately. Why are so many software engineers losing their jobs? It seems counterintuitive, right? Software is eating the world. Every company wants to be a tech company. We're all glued to our screens. Shouldn't that translate to more opportunities for the people who build the digital world? Well, as with everything, it's complicated. There are a lot of factors at play here, a perfect storm of economic realities, shifting technological landscapes, and good old-fashioned corporate strategy. Let's break it down. So first, let's zoom out and look at the bigger picture. The global economy, as you might have noticed, is not exactly having its best moment. Inflation is doing that thing where it rhymes with inflation but feels a lot more like a punch to the gut. Interest rates are rising, making it more expensive for companies to borrow money and invest in, well, everything. And when investors get nervous, they tend to pull back, making it harder for startups to secure funding and for larger companies to justify ambitious growth plans. This economic uncertainty trickles down, and often one of the first things companies do to tighten their belts is cut costs. And guess what's a big expense for many businesses? You guessed it, payroll. Remember the early days of the pandemic? Remember how we all thought we'd be baking sourdough bread and attending Zoom meetings in our pajamas forever? Yeah, me neither. But the tech industry definitely remembers, because for a while there it seemed like the digital world was the only world. Demand for software, for e-commerce, for streaming services, for basically anything that could be accessed from a laptop exploded. And tech companies, flush with venture capital and optimism, went on a hiring spree. But as the world started to open up again, that demand started to normalize. It turns out we actually like going outside and seeing other humans, sometimes. This left many tech giants with bloated payrolls and the sinking realization that maybe, just maybe, they'd overdone it a tad. Cue the layoffs. Okay, I know what you're thinking. Here comes the robot takeover segment, and while it's true that automation is playing a role in this story, it's not quite as dramatic as Hollywood might have you believe. We're not talking sentient AI taking over coding jobs yet. But we are seeing the rise of incredibly powerful AI tools that can automate certain tasks, like code generation and bug detection. Tools like GitHub Copilot and ChatGPT are becoming increasingly sophisticated, and they're changing the game. This doesn't mean software engineers are obsolete, not by a long shot, but it does mean that companies may need fewer developers to achieve the same output, and the demand for certain specialized roles is likely to increase. Let's face it, the world is a big place, and talent knows no geographical boundaries. As companies look for ways to cut costs, it's no surprise that they're increasingly turning to outsourcing and offshoring. Hiring developers in countries with lower labor costs can be a tempting proposition, even if it means navigating time zones and cultural differences. We're also seeing a rise in the gig economy, with companies relying more on freelancers and contractors for specific projects rather than maintaining large, full-time development teams. This allows for flexibility and cost savings, but it also creates a more precarious job market for software engineers competing for a limited number of opportunities. Remember those venture capitalists we talked about earlier, the ones who were showering tech companies with money just a few years ago? Well, they're not feeling quite as generous these days. With the economy in a wobbly state, investors are getting a lot more cautious about where they put their money. This is especially bad news for startups, which rely heavily on venture capital to fuel their growth. We're seeing a lot of early-stage companies struggling to secure funding, leading to hiring freezes, downsizing, and even complete shutdowns. And when startups fail, it's not just the founders and employees who feel the pain. It also means fewer job opportunities for software engineers looking to break into the industry or work on cutting-edge projects. Sometimes layoffs aren't just about cutting costs or responding to external pressures. Sometimes they're part of a larger organizational shakeup. Companies like snakes shed their skin from time to time. They restructure, they reorganize, they try to streamline their operations and become more efficient. This often involves flattening management layers, consolidating teams, and eliminating redundancies. And unfortunately, this restructuring often leads to job losses, even for high-performing individuals. It's like playing a game of musical chairs, and when the music stops, someone is always left standing. Okay, let's address the elephant in the room. Not all layoffs are created equal. Sometimes they're simply a matter of performance. Just like in any other field, there are software engineers who excel and those who struggle. And in a competitive job market, companies are less likely to hesitate when it comes to letting go of employees who aren't meeting expectations. Additionally, as companies evolve and their priorities shift, certain roles may become obsolete. The skills that were in high demand a few years ago might not be as relevant today. This can lead to layoffs for individuals in roles that no longer align with the company's strategic direction, even if they're otherwise competent. So there you have it, folks. These are some of the key reasons why software engineers are facing job losses. It's a complex issue with no easy answers. The good news is that the tech industry is nothing if not resilient. It's constantly evolving, adapting, and creating new opportunities. The key is to stay informed, keep your skills sharp, and be prepared to navigate the ever-changing landscape of the job market. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more insights. See you next time.